no one can actually ask me to make any decision if I don't see data. And that's a shift for the company because no one has ever done that. But there is no way you can ask me if we can remove this topping from this menu or give that for free if you don't show me exactly the impact on the total cash margin. Like it will not happen. And people really understood that along the way, and I think it will help us also delivering better results.
Welcome to Captive Conversations, brought to you by Captive Wi-Fi. I'm your host, Adam Foreman. This podcast brings you the best stories from suppliers, marketers, and operators from our beloved hospitality sector. Now, let's get on with the show. Hello, everyone. Episode 55. It's a good number. And on the way to 60. I can't believe we're this far. So I have the pleasure of having Laura, CMO of Fulham Shore, which is, if you don't know, Real Greek and Franco Manca. It's not just one, you've got two brands to deal with. We connected on LinkedIn, and I then dug into your story of what you've done as well previously, and my mind went firing off. So thank you for responding, thank you for coming. And it's been really interesting to hear your story and where you came from, and managing the beast that is, but I'm sure, because it's an interesting story as well. So thank you for coming. We're going to start with the questions from the last guests. So that was Christoph and Angus from Storkit. Even though did I email you that? I did tell you that, didn't I? Or did I say it was someone else?
You told me that,
Oh, you did? Okay,
but
good.
Yesterday night, super late.
Yeah. I'm super organised when it comes to the questions. So yeah, thank goodness you messaged me saying, is it still on tomorrow? Because I've been all over the place. So I apologise. I'm usually very organised. But the first question was, what business other than yours has inspired you on the journey to get started, or the decision you made to run it? Which is probably a good one for your first.
Yeah. Obviously, when I started my own business, I was inspired and driven by healthy food. And at that time, there were a lot of startups on that environment. So, for instance, Farmer J, Pollen and Grace, Detox Kitchen, Island Pocky. And I was really inspired, impressed by all these brands for different reasons. I actually worked in one of these for 2 months as a waitress to learn how to serve people, how to make food, and learn hospitality from the heart of it, which is on the ground. So yeah, all these businesses, and some are still alive, some are not there anymore.
I remember we used to work with Detox Kitchen, so I remember them being down the road where you were, well, literally right near where you were. Back in the day. I think they still do the boxes.
I think so.
Yeah. Interesting. But yeah, it's interesting to see back then to where we are now, and the beginning of the healthy revolution, I guess. So amazing. And the second question,
the best,
which is if you could, I can't even. My English is terrible in this. If you could describe yourself as a vegetable, what would it be? And
so
why?
I did prep that one
because
awesome. when I saw that, I was like, this is a question I need to prep. So I picked courgette because courgette, first of all, there are a lot of different courgettes. The round one, the long one, the yellow one.
Love the yellow one.
You can make them in very different ways. So you can fry them, you can make them raw in a salad, you can use them also as a food hack to replace pasta, which, food hack is...
I love a bit of courgette,
Exactly, and it's what inspired me when I launched Kaleido. It was to, change the way people eat and do it through a food hack. So, yeah, courgettes.
Perfect. Okay, so these are lots of questions. So basically, before we start with this one, the main question is early doors. Had you worked in hospitality at all before you even thought about what you were doing, like when you were younger? Awesome. No. Okay, so the questions here we've got. You started your career marketing big brands like Green and Black and Tropicana. That's awesome. Before co-founding Kaleido, what motivated you to leave and start? You obviously mentioned about the healthy thing. So what was it in working big corporate? and then realizing there was a need, or was it the food hack thing?
I was very happy. I worked for Mondelez for 6 years. I had the honor to work on Green and Black's Organic in France, to work on Manca, Côte d'Or, which are very, very big, loved brands. And then when I moved to the UK, I worked on Green and Black's Organic, which was an amazing experience because it was an entrepreneurial brand created by a couple in Notting Hill, which, funny enough, I created Kaleido with my husband in Notting Hill. And then was promoted to Cadbury Cream Egg, so very different experience. Then moved to Pepsi. So I really enjoyed my time in big FMCG companies because you have big budgets, because you have amazing talents you're working with cross-functionally, because everything is possible. Any crazy idea can happen because you have the power to make it happen.
And the budgets are a little bit different.
Yeah, definitely. Pepsi was also amazing because Pepsi is actually a very bold and agile business for the size of it. In Pepsi, I was responsible for Tropicana Innovation, Alvaye Gazpacho, which is a product that is not very famous in the UK, but it is in some European countries, and also Naked Juice, which is a very cool brand and young brand in the UK. And I think on Naked Juice, my boss used to say, we have to run it as if we were running it from our garage. And I was like, but I'm in Pepsi. And I think...
That's rare, isn't it?
Yeah, but that was the vibes 10 years ago, you know. It was all about behaving like a startup. Everyone was speaking about startup. I had friends leaving their job to create a startup, and that was what was cool at that time. And I had a brilliant big business career, and then people were constantly speaking about startups. And in the same time, I got the idea of Kaleido, which was to create a salad sandwich, to change the way people eat. I've always been a bit overweight, and finding a solution to eat healthy but in a fun and playful way has always been, you know, my desire. So when I got the idea of Kaleido, and in the same time was in an environment that was really, really valuing startups, I just felt I had nothing to lose.
Yeah, that's very interesting. So then, when was the jump? Did obviously, I'm assuming you did it while you were working throughout, or did you go?
So I had a big job, so I could not really create anything as a side hustle. What I did though is we were supposed to go on honeymoon with my husband, and we didn't go. I actually stayed in London, worked on the project, so it was, I think, 2 weeks' time. And I remember being in Kingly Street, counting the number of people entering Detox Kitchen to try to understand if our model was viable financially. So that's how we started. But then very quickly I resigned and ended up in my living room with nothing.
Did you not? So back then there weren't as many markets, right? So now there's lots of little markets where you can do pop-up. There were some, but not a huge amount.
So I started in markets. So I was making the food myself. I bought an ugly fridge that was in our living room, got my flat conceal registered. So really, you know, starting...
Yeah, yours, a prep kitchen.
And then we were doing food markets on the weekend. Because the product was very unique and innovative, we managed to get a spot at Malby Street, which is a very foodie food market. And so my husband was helping me on the weekend, and I remember us taking all the stuff from home. We had a porter, and he was like, "What are you doing?" And I'm organizing a picnic. And we were taking Uber cars because we didn't have a car. It was crazy.
You're bootstrapping.
Yeah, definitely. So we did that for a while to understand if we had a demand for the product.
What was it? What was the feedback you got when you started to where it got to? Because I'm sure the product changed throughout, right?
It changed, notably because people were eating greaseproof paper. So we had the rice paper and we put a greaseproof paper under the product so that people could hold it without getting their hands dirty and so on. And we saw people eating the greaseproof paper. And we were like, okay, we need to change the way we are packaging the product. But actually, funny enough, a lot of the recipe I created back then were still around, 7 years later. And the market enabled us to understand that one big point of difference we had, and one thing people really liked, was the mix and match.
So people, because you did the halves, right?
Exactly.
Yes.
So generally, when you go into, especially in France, when you buy rice paper rolls, they come in the whole roll. We decided to sell them in half, and people could mix and match. And people really loved to swap flavors and mix flavors. And that's really something
was it more prevalent in France than here?
So that's, a big question. And maybe we would have thrived, better if we would have launched in France. But yeah, rice paper is very famous in France because of the relationship with Vietnam. In the UK, and this is also why I wanted to launch in the UK originally. In the UK, people don't really know rice paper. They may have seen it in some Vietnamese restaurants. Pho, which is, a relatively big chain here, has rice paper rolls, and they have actually put more and more focus on it the past few years. But it's not really a product you see everywhere. In France, you will see it in your Chinese corner shop, actually. So everyone knows what rice paper is, which obviously was a challenge for us in the UK because we had to educate the customers about what it is. And that was the most frequent question we had was, what is it?
So what was in the beginning, what was the questions like? Because what was the answer like? And what was the because it looks cool, right? Just looking at it, it looks pretty cool, especially with the mix and match. What were the questions people were asking? Is this what's the outside? What is it like?
So the questions were very different depending on where we were. I did some food markets where really there was no match between our product, our concept, and the audience. So there we had some question like, what is it? Can I eat it? We saw people unpeeling the roll, in like mainstream environment. But we were also in the London Fashion Week. We were in Selfridges in Harrods. We catered for the Kardashians. So the question we had there were very different. It was sometimes about the calories. It was about, can I keep it for tomorrow because I love it and I want to eat it, every single day. I
have to say, I probably did go to because I used to have a client around the corner. I think I must have had it probably because I'd been in a hurry for lunch, and I don't want to go to Pret, and I'd walk down Kingly Street, and I think I may have gone every other day or every day that week to grab something and go because it was so easy. It was just so easy to go, and then eating a Pret sandwich is really difficult. But I think when you got to the end part, when you really did it, I don't know how you did it because I still can't make the wrap how you made it because it's like even with the I couldn't.
And that was a skill that was also a barrier to entry. And I think if today there are no big chain of rice paper rolls, it's because the product is very difficult to make. Someone very famous, the founder of two very, very big chain in the UK, has invited me in his office to discuss my product. And when I arrived, he had photos of my product all around, and that was quite shocking, for an entrepreneur. So it's a product that is very unique, and I think that was the beauty of it. It's maybe also why we had to pivot. So as you may know, I closed down the UK 1.5 years ago and kept only the franchise that we have, notably in supermarkets. So we decided to pivot to actually continue the adventure. But yeah, it's a beautiful product.
So where is the product now?
So now you can find it in Albertine, in the Netherlands. You can also find a version of Kaleido in Chicago.
Yeah.
And hopefully very soon in the UK again.
Oh, that's exciting.
It's exciting.
Yeah, well, they need the secret sauce. They need to understand how to do it. And it's so difficult. Even online, it's super difficult. But I mentioned earlier, I was saying my kid is gluten and dairy free, and I was showing her photos of it because she ordered some sushi a little while ago, and it came in rice paper. She'd prefer it than the nori because it's easier to eat. She can see what's going on. She can pick out what she doesn't want, And I was showing her photos. She was in awe because she hasn't seen it. So I think it's amazing. And also going back to where you were, because of the hype it got, not only because of the health benefits, but you said you had the Kardashians going for it, and this is crazy. So were you getting requests coming in?
We had requests. We had people with 2 million followers buying the product. And if I have one regret on Kaleido, is not to have done what I know best, which is marketing. And what's crazy when I think about it is Kaleido was me, my husband. We recruited an ops director, I think 2 years before closing down. And then we had Mary, which was an amazing lady. She started on the floor as sales assistant. And then, little by little, she was basically managing our sales team. But that's all. And I think because of that, I was not really able to do what I'm best at, which is marketing.
Yeah.
And actually, we had so much organic traction that could have really made us thrive if only I was focusing on what I'm best at.
Yeah.
But obviously
you learn,
was,
right?
Yeah.
And
that
also
was
you're focusing on the product and the brand and making money and that.
We were doing everything,
Yeah.
We were doing obviously product development, packaging, finding the property, bless you.
Thank you, sorry.
Negotiating the lease, doing the
You were
invoices.
doing the founder stuff. It was the founder
exactly.
stuff.
But I think one important thing is, as a founder, to also remember what you're best at and making sure that you actually allocate some time to work on what you're best at and not only doing the founder stuff.
Yeah. It's difficult when you get to that period as well. So you get more locations, and can you manage it all? We had Nick from Yoke in previously. We worked with Nick, and Nick's great. And he got to the point where he realised, actually, I can't do it all. I need to bring someone in. And he actually brought a people person in earlier as well, which is really interesting, earlier than you normally would. So it's very interesting listening to different routes. But I think that when you have so much passion for the project, and which obviously I can hear you did, you just wanted to succeed and power through and deal with it all.
I think it's also because our product was quite niche, and as a consequence, we had to go little by little because we could not, raise a lot of money. And I think it's a bit this vicious circle. We could not really hire people to enable us to grow fast because we were small and niche. But on the other end, without recruiting, people that can help us really grow, we would remain niche. And I think that was a bit, the situation. But amazing adventure, and really excited to see what's coming next.
I'm excited. To be fair, I am excited because it's still weirdly enough, it's still nowhere. it's not. No one has duplicated it. It hasn't. Well, not really. I haven't seen it anywhere, and I miss it. So please bring it back, so I can have a healthy lunch and not go to get a sandwich. Okay, so I've got here one of the questions was you've said your North Star in marketing is to build brand love and make customers feel something. I like that. How did you put that philosophy into Kaleido, and how are you applying it where you are now? Before that, let's talk about, because I'm skipping ahead and I want to hear what happened.
Go for it.
So you closed down Kaleido.
Yeah.
And then were you looking for other roles, or where did you sit at that point?
So I closed down Kaleido UK. We created a new company to continue the adventure abroad. The product is different. As I told you, it's in supermarkets, and rice paper is a very fragile product with a very short shelf life. So we actually developed a very innovative wrapper that is not rice paper that enable us to scale in this channel.
What's it made of?
It's made of plants.
Yeah. Okay, so it's a plant-based wrapper. Nice.
It's fully natural. It's only 7 calories.
Wow.
So it's, in a way, the best achievement of my mission of creating a salad sandwich and a super healthy product.
How long is the shelf life? Sorry, I'm just curious.
A few days.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's why we are in the supermarkets in Albertine. So this is still going on. I'm a director of that company. However, as you know, I now have a full-time job. And that was really my ambition. My ambition was also to, continue my career. And I felt I learned a lot with Kaleido, but I felt it was time for me to learn again, but also do what I'm best at, which is marketing.
Yeah.
So I applied for a few roles and then was made aware that this role was created and decided to apply for it. I knew Capdisia, which is one of the equity fund backing the Fulham Shore, because I actually met one of the founder of Capdisia when I launched Kaleido at a pitching event. So it's funny how life is,
circle.
Yeah. And yeah, I decided to apply for it. I think the potential is huge. 2 amazing brands, very, very different brands and challenges.
Yeah.
And I've been there for a year now.
So when you got there, because you said the role was created for you, was there other marketing roles within?
So the role was not created for me. The role was created, and I applied.
Not for you, obviously.
Yeah.
But before you were there, there were other marketing pieces. Was there anything sitting on top?
No.
Okay, so this was designed to put some cohesion behind it, I guess.
Yes, and I think it's the right thing to do, because even if the brands are very different, there are some synergies. I don't know if you're looking at a tech platform or tool. You might be interested to roll it out in the 2 brands. So I think it makes a lot of sense. And but my 2 teams are very different.
Yeah, that's so interesting. So you're sitting on top of 2 separate teams.
Yes,
that's amazing, and better for the brand, I guess. So
yeah.
They get a twofer. So then, when you started, because you've been there a year now, so it's probably been a bit of a crazy year, I'm assuming, of deep diving into both different brands. What was that like? What was coming in and then immersing yourself into? Because again, you said that they are 2 completely different brands, even though the one in Soho is next door to each other, which I love. And I think did they own the same building? You own the same building or something? Or was it just a freak?
It's amazing, and actually there are a few locations where it's almost the case like that. And I think it's the previous owners that just spotted some opportunities to open the 2 brands next to each other. And as you know, when you're a founder, you also look at what's easy, and it's so much easier to actually manage restaurants when they're close by, and you can
swap staff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think it was, a clever property strategy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a crazy year. I arrived in a time where the company had experimented a lot of changes, and I think my startup experience really helped me because obviously as a founder, I was very agile. I was able to navigate in chaos and have fun in the same time. So I actually really enjoyed discovering the two brands, building my team, and
Did you have the flexibility to expand and put that layout you want? One question I have for you: so FMCG very different from hospitality.
Yeah.
So we had Sherry from Bill's the other day and she was from retail. So, and I saw Tom at Hostech. He did a talk from Bill's. It was unbelievable. And he's like, everyone I bring in for marketing is from retail. So, because FMCG very different and has very amazing tactics. And if you look at hospitality marketing, where marketers who have that single view, I think not only have you come in from the FMCG side and done the founder thing, your brain is on both sides. Do you think that's really helped with where you are?
I think retail, when you are a marketer in retail, you are driven by business. You know numbers. You understand that a marketer is here to drive sales. I don't think, and I don't like to make general sentences, but I don't think it's really the case in hospitality. I think in hospitality, marketers are a department that is not necessarily valued, and the person is just doing some limited edition menus or stuff like that. Marketing, for me, is at the heart of any company. It's the strategy, it's the customer acquisition, it's the pricing, positioning. When you think about it, marketing is the 4P: product, price, placement, promotion.
I love that. That's going to be a great clip. Thank you.
So I think we really learned that in retail. And in retail, you learn two things, especially when you work in big brands like I did. You learn how to be business driven. My first years in Mondelez, I just did numbers. So I was looking at market share. And before Mondelez, I worked for Reckitt Benckiser in toilet products. So it was like perfume and hair plug and whatever. And every single week, I had to provide a business analysis of the performance of each individual SKU, so per perfume, to my boss with the ranking versus competition. So, marketing is numbers.
Yeah.
And the second thing you really learn in big FMCG is brand. When you manage Cadbury, when you manage, brands that are really loved by everyone, you have to protect them, you have to care about them. And I think that's definitely a superpower that I'm lucky to have, now.
I 100% agree. It's really interesting because we speak to loads of different marketers, right, across the board. And there was a comment a little while ago that marketers are too busy putting an out of order sign on the toilet than running other stuff, because ops will be like, I want this, and they want to set messaging. So, and then now you're on a beast of a brand. Other brands that aren't as big have that resource issue where there's one person doing everything. So do you split the resource in your team, as in how does that work?
So I think first, synergies, simplification, and tech, you will be pleased to hear. Like, so many things can be simplified. So for instance, you're talking about the out of order poster. We have one lady in the team that is bombarded with questions from all our restaurants.
Yeah.
I want this poster, I want that poster. We are now releasing a platform where a restaurant can actually...
They can log in and download.
Nice. Exactly.
Yeah.
Amazing. And I just think it's time to stop all these inefficiencies and free up time for doing things that matter and have an impact. So that will be my first advice, is to really look at, these people that don't have a lot of resources. What are you doing that can be done differently? But yes, I believe that it's important to have a local marketing superstar, for instance. If the company can afford it, I think digital marketing is also a different kind of skill set, which should be separate. But the first thing is always to get rid of all the stuff that are not necessary. You cannot imagine how many reports my team was doing that no one was ever reading. And the first thing I did is just to say stop to so many things.
Yeah.
And, we were doing price competition trackers and, tracking everything, but no one was actually looking at any of these trackers. And when I was asking people about, a trend, no one was able to answer to me.
Yeah.
And I was like, so now we stop doing all of that. The day you want to change your pricing, you do a pricing analysis.
Yeah.
But you don't do this endless pricing tracker that no one is ever looking at.
I'm assuming it's stuff that's just been consistent, like been asked for ages ago and left there. It's a routine, right? It's a routine.
I think maybe because I'm French, and I think French people love to say no. But I think,
to be honest with you, I have to interrupt you. We're captive, right? With what we do, we find that most people in the UK are very polite, and that they'll say yes, but they won't necessarily do it. So we're like, oh, that looks great, and they'll disappear off the face of the earth. In Europe, when we speak to in Europe, so we've got clients in Amsterdam, we've got clients in Cannes and Saint-Tropez. We speak to them, and they go, that's great, can we do it? Or if they want to be honest, they'll be like, it's not for me, and it'll be done.
Exactly.
So it'll either be
and I'm
yes,
really like that.
Yeah.
You cannot imagine. I'm meeting many agencies offering me, tools for a lot of things.
Yeah.
And I will be, I'm interested or I'm not interested. And they will be, oh, okay. But I think it's time just to stop losing time.
Yeah.
So that will be definitely one of the key advice I would give to anyone that is tight in resources, is just to learn to say no and just to stop doing things that has no value.
So step back, look at the whole picture, and then reevaluate. Mm-hmm. It's hard, I guess, isn't it? Especially when you're stuck there. We had a client who the marketing director had a baby. She then left. New guy came in, and everything's changed. It's like it's that fresh eye. Everything's now completely different. It's so different. It's so strange how you don't think about it because the role just keeps going. So I think it's hard. But you're right. Coming in and we're looking at it. I think that's why we got the other consultants who can come in and look at the overview. I feel that's something that in the future you might be doing on the other side of the business. Sounds like going in and fixing everything. But there's definitely a need. But I literally the info here was just talking about sort of being founder and CMO. So in the back of your mind, are there the little people telling you we can run this as this for the on that found? Are you trying to take the founder style info or that you've learned and put that into the hospitality marketing as well? So
I've been exactly half of my career founder, half of my career working for massive businesses.
Yeah.
So I think I'm really a mix of both. I think, what we have just discussed about people like me not wanting my team to work on unnecessary stuff is definitely something I learned from being a founder, because you are tight in resources and you don't have time for papocce, which is an Italian word I've just
love that word.
learned, which is unnecessary stuff, bullshit,
love that. I love that. I think there needs to be a website for that.
Exactly. So I think definitely in my leadership style, you can see these two elements of my career. You can also see no one can actually ask me to make any decision if I don't see data. And that's a shift for the company because no one has ever done that. But there is no way you can ask me if we can remove this topping from this menu or give that for free if you don't show me exactly the impact on the total cash margin. It will not happen.
Yeah.
And people really understood that along the way, and I think it will help us also delivering better results to be more business driven.
What's some of the biggest changes you put in? You allowed to share that or not? I think it's a bit of a tricky question.
Biggest changes.
Almost impactful. There you go. That's quite good.
Food.
Yeah.
So food is part of my remit for two reasons. One, because I'm a believer that food should sit in marketing, because as I told you, the 4P, you know, the basic you learn in business school: product, price, promotion, placement. Product is the food, and I believe it should sit in marketing. So, and the second reason is obviously because of my background. You know, at Kaleido, I developed all the recipe. It's an area where I do have some expertise. Because
I love this because I can imagine you going in there showing you something and you're like, no, that's not right. Because like normal marketers don't have it. You're like a bit of a unicorn, to be honest.
It's cool to be able also to know, like to be knowledgeable and to have some credibility when you're giving a feedback, but also to understand more than just marketing. So obviously,
you know the whole process from source to product to stock to...
Exactly. And when the food team is presenting me a product, and then when we are liaising with the ops team, I do know what will be their challenge, you know. So I think that's very useful. So yeah, to your question, the biggest change we've made is the food. And today we are launching our new Franco Manca menu. We are launching the Real Greek menu tomorrow.
Awesome. So I've got you a good time.
and it's game changing. Really, the new menu on the Real Greek is mind blowing. We have changed everything. Even this morning, we were discussing green tomatoes because we are still looking for the perfect tomatoes, and the one we picked originally were not available, so it was like a drama because I want the Greek salad to be perfect. We need to have the best
you want
Greek
consistency
salad.
and
we need taste. People will come back if we are delivering great food, great service, and an experience on the Real Greek. People want to feel they are in Greece, and this will be delivered by the feeling you have in the restaurant, but also by the food. We want the Greek salad to really taste fresh. And for that, you need the best ingredient. So we have changed the olive oil, we have changed the oregano, we have changed the tomato, we have increased the level of feta. We have changed the plate and the bowl where the food is coming. So really looking at...
So a small project for you then.
Yeah, small project. Looking at everything. We've changed the meat. All the meat. We have focused on the skewers and the grill. Because this is what you think about when you think about Greece. And we've made so many small changes that make a massive difference. So for instance, our chicken skewer is still 180 grams, but now it comes with 2 skewers with smaller pieces of meat. Because they are smaller, they get more of the marinade, they cook quicker. So
speed of service, is it?
Speed of service.
It's your operator brain kicking through.
I mean, it was really an amazing cross-functional project.
Because everything from the whole thing. I work with a couple of people who were ex-ops and now marketing, and it's a game changer because they understand the flow of business and what needs to be changed. So the whole menu changing. What, tomorrow? Did you say?
On the Real Greek tomorrow, On Franco Manca is today.
And Franco Manca is today. Okay, so I'll take my little camera and I'll do it.
I brought you some voucher for you.
Oh, okay. Yes? To be fair, so one other point I have to say to you, I commented on a post that you put in, and literally out of nowhere, someone messaged me on LinkedIn saying, "Thank you for commenting. Have a free lunch."
Oh, nice.
And I was like, "I don't need it's fine. I'm okay." She said, "No. Send me your email address." Nice. So that was a good
team.
Yeah, good props to your team. So so the Franco product, what's happening there? Is it the same sort of thing? You changing like produce or like is the whole menu changed as well?
So Franco Manca and the Real Greek, very different brands, very different challenges. Franco Manca has always been driven by something we call pizza with principles. So We want to make pizza as it should be, sourdough pizza as it should be. And I think the brand has never diverted too much from that. So there is not this need of transformation that we have on the Real Greek. However, we are still, changing a lot of things. We are now moving from 10 pizza to 12 pizza to really recenter our offering on pizza. We feel we had some pizza that were missing in the menu that we really wanted to add. We are also launching 4 new salads using, seasonal ingredients. So a lot of exciting things happening also on Franco Manca. Franco Manca is a brand people love.
Yeah.
People used to queue.
So Tom Court Road, just here. I literally remember, because I've been in this area for the last 15 years. I literally couldn't get in for lunch. It's still busy, still really busy, but I remember I wanted to get the guys some takeaway. Yeah. And I still had to go in, and it was mental. It's still busy now, but originally it was crazy.
Yes, and my job is to make it crazy again.
Yeah.
And I think the environment has changed a lot.
Well, you got loads more competition.
Exactly. Much more competition.
Yeah. I don't think the sourdough competition as much, to be honest with you, from what I see.
So we remain, and I don't think the competition is actually using sourdough.
I think you're still quite unique in what the product is.
Yeah,
and especially with the product, with the toppings as well, because you're traditional. You'd have the toppings that some would be cooked, some won't be cooked, right?
Yeah.
So there's a mix. So there aren't that many around that do that. You'll go to a place when they'll have it'll come out.
But we need to remind customers about it.
Yeah,
I think we haven't done it so well for the past years.
Yeah.
So we need to tell people again what's unique about Franco Manca and remind them that this is a place to get the best Napolitan sourdough pizza at an affordable price. And this is what we are. We are cheaper than the competition and better than the competition. And we need the brand to deliver this message with personality.
Yeah. Do you think that storytelling is... what about storytelling? Because that's a really interesting piece. Listen, the reason why I do this is to tell the story. Is there something you guys are going to... I have to apologise, I haven't looked at social, but is that something that you guys are looking at doing or redoing? Or because you've changed the whole menu with the Real Greek. Is there a whole storytelling piece behind that as well?
Yeah, and I've been in the business for a year. We've been twice in Greece. Last month I took the whole team in Greece because that's what we need if we want to be the Real Greek.
Yeah.
We need to be in Greece. We need to understand the culture. We need to understand the food. We need to be inspired. So the team was like, what's the plan? And I was like, the plan is just to do nothing and be in Greece.
You're a nice boss, aren't you?
No, I'm tough.
You're a nice boss.
I'm tough.
So when they say they were waiting for the checklist or the report to be made afterwards, or
every trip we've made inspired us. First of all, build a strong team, but also inspired us. So, for instance, we visited a little food market in Athens, and there was this candy shop, and we had ouzo candy a few months ago as a surprise and delight, a bit like Dishum is doing with their mango, candies when you get the bill. And I just saw these beautiful Greek candies. They were all different.
Yeah.
Shape was different, packaging was different. And I was like, this is what I need. We need a plate with a lot of different Greek candies, not just one.
Yeah.
Because we were wondering, what should replace our ouzo candy? But then when we were there, it was so obvious that what was fun was the discovery of not knowing which candy is that. So we are bringing that to the restaurant. We tried an amazing Greek sangria that we brought to the restaurant. So there are so many things that we have seen that we want to see in London, in the UK.
So then on the menu as well, have we just redesigned the menu layout and design to make it more storytelling style?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And on that, we've worked with La Crème de la Crème, which is a lady called Annika from a
She's
company
awesome.
Two Forks.
She's awesome.
She's amazing.
I actually need to get her on the podcast. I went to one of her events, and looked at the menu. It was just, it's a game changer. So I'm very excited. I'm actually now even more excited to see the menu, and I will take a photo and share it. So has she helped with both menus?
No, Annika supported on the Real Greek from the very beginning. So
that's exciting.
On the strategy, on the execution. She came in Greece in the 2 trips with me.
I love that.
We shared a flat and it was very fun. So I'm seeing her on Thursday. I will definitely tell her you need to...
I need to message her, to be honest with you, because it's some of the stuff that her brain comes out with is just awesome. So the thing I went to was amazing. So I'm really excited to see the menu. That's going to be really good.
So she definitely thinks differently. And to your point about the menu design, she is a menu geek. So she really helped us bringing to life the vision we wanted in a way that is customer friendly. And she did an amazing job. And we are really excited to continue working with her in the future. Yeah,
that's awesome. I'm going to touch on tech because it's really interesting nowadays. Back in the day, there wasn't a tech stack that marketing ever touched. And now there's a marketing tech stack. Where are you with that? Are you looking through the process of implementing more things? Because you've got the new, or you've got I don't remember what point of sale you have, but there's loads of different solutions out there that plug into everything now. There's it's like a candy store of what you can plug in.
So we are at the beginning of this journey. I think it's so exciting. There is not a single week where I don't have an agency, a provider showing me something I didn't know that existed. And I think it's a very exciting time for all industries, but also hospitality. From AI that can help us understand the productivity of the people working on the floor, to pay at table, to sentiment.
You're just at the beginning of the journey. This is awesome. Not many people have the opportunity to go and choose what's there, especially now, because there's lots of people who are stuck in the past with what's left. And having to deal with those like stock control and other contracts that are out there with marketing platforms and so on. There's a lot of people are just stuck. And I think I think you've literally come in at a perfect opportunity. You've done the foundation work. So you've done the food, you've done the menu, you're sorting out the people, sorting out your team, and then that's now dispersing out from there. So I think this is an awesome, exciting time.
It is. It does take a lot of time to actually understand, especially when it's not necessarily something you've seen in the past. You have to really understand deeply the solutions that are offered, and you generally explore something, and then the competitor is approaching you, and you're like, "Wow, what's the difference?" But I think it's fascinating, and I think it's full of opportunity for the Fulham Shore.
And so, what are you using for CRM wise now? Can you share?
CRM, we are using Atrimo.
Okay, nice, perfect. Okay, good. And that's across both brands. So you're using their automations, their Did you? Is that new, or did you put?
No, it was in place.
It was already there. So are you looking at re-looking at the guest journeys next?
Yes.
Because that's obviously super important, right? I think James Mobbs did a talk at one of the events a little while ago, and I think at RMI, and he was saying he signed up to 50 brands.
I wasn't there, but someone told me about that.
And I asked him to share prize. You see my talk when he was there. And I think maybe, 10 brands on the website responded to him, which is just the customer journey on the website has got to be the same as everything, right? The whole journey. So you've had the CRM. Now you're looking at all the other tools, and then the big word in everyone's mouth is loyalty. So I spoke to Jamie the other day. Honest Burgers just released their loyalties, finished a long journey. App's now out. I downloaded it immediately, obviously, because it's just Franco Manca's there and Honest is there. So we got. I'm in a good location, to be fair. With and Sushi Dog's just open, so we're doing all right in this area. But is that another sort of notch on to look at?
Yeah. So on Franco Manca, we have always had an app. I mean, not always, but
Yeah.
it has been a few years. It's a challenge because we have had some period of time where we've crashed the app, especially myself in Jan with a very deep promotion. So I'm trying to assess at the moment what it means for us as a business, for our customers. So that will definitely be a big project.
Yeah, you got a lot going on.
Yes.
Yeah, and I love that it's hitting in your stride. Other people I speak to who have people I've spoken to in the past who just even have a brand with like 10 sites are freaking out because there's so much to do. But I love the calmness, or maybe it's just
I think it's just super exciting.
Yeah.
And we cannot tackle all the topics in the same time.
No.
But we can tackle those that matter most.
Yeah, but that's your brain working from compared to other people. It's your concept of your history of where you've been to understand what's more important. As you said, the whole reporting thing, to stop, let's start here. I think it's amazing.
But also like in Mondelez, for instance, I remember my boss always saying it was one of the value was fewer, bigger, better.
Yeah.
And I think it's a startup stuff, but it's also a big business stuff, which is about prioritizing. What being an entrepreneur definitely taught me is better done than perfect. And this is what I'm telling the team. We aim for marginal improvement. For instance, on your point on improving the CRM journey, it doesn't have to be the end goal. We will keep improving the CRM journey forever.
Yeah.
But if tomorrow we can get something better than what it is today, then I'm happy with that.
Yeah, I think, listen, you learn as you go. You have to make mistakes to make things better. And you learn that as a founder, right? So again, it's these little things inside your history that helps you with it. And the little voices in your mind saying, that's not right. And also that, yeah, you're definitely a unicorn when it comes to this sort of stuff. This is great. Thank you. I mean, literally, I can talk to you for ages. This is really interesting. So we've talked about this. So the future really is Kaleido might be coming back, which is very exciting, or is coming back. So that's we'll stay in touch. Real Quick's got the new menu out tomorrow. Franco's out today.
Yes.
It's very exciting. And then last piece, quick question. Digital marketing. Obviously, I mentioned your team were way on top of it for that LinkedIn thing I didn't even know about, which is amazing. Are you sitting on top of that as well? Are they that side of the team for that part of digital marketing piece?
Yes.
So it's the whole thing as well. So are you looking at restructuring that sort of stuff, or is it put systems in place? Like the whole storytelling piece, the TikTok and so on. I haven't looked. I apologize.
No worries. The digital side of the business is also in my remit. I think here again we have a lot of potential. So we are starting by delivering better content that is more engaging. To go back to my North Star, which is make people feel something. So trying to tell them stories they actually care about. And engage in a relevant way. But there is, much more than that
coming up. I'm very excited. So thank you. I'm going to give you, you won't be able, you can sort of hear it. There's a little round of applause. They can hear the round of applause. But thank you. That's a round of applause for you. This has been awesome. And I love the Kaleido hit story as well. Where did the name come from, by the way?
The name comes from kaleidoscope, which is, a clever toy.
Perfectly shaped round roll, right?
Exactly. It's colorful like the rolls. It's clever like the rolls because it was a clever twist. Which is exactly. And you could twist.
Yeah. Okay, I love that. Your marketing heads are really kicking in. Amazing. Thank you so much. This has been awesome, and thank you for coming. The final questions. Actually, I didn't even give you the first question, so I'm going to do the first two questions. Was best hospitality experience.
Best hospitality experience. I would say a very small coffee in Notting Hill called Aminados.
Yeah.
You don't need to go, but I think that's the symbol of best hospitality. It's owned and managed by a guy that is like 75.
Yeah.
And I used to work there during COVID because I was depressed to be on my own. And every time I come, he calls me, "Oh, Laura, what do you want?" And he knows what I want. He sits me on the best table. Every time he cooks something, he comes and show it to me. And you know, that's hospitality.
Yeah.
Ultimately, I want to come because of him. And I think it's quite unique.
Yeah, I love that.
But yeah, best hospitality, it should be the real Greek.
Yeah.
In the real Greek, we have this value of, it's called philoxenia, which means welcoming stranger. And we are not there yet, but some restaurants are there. Like there is a guy called Yanis. He actually won an award and was in Japan with our shareholders 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
And this guy got more than 1,500 reviews under his name.
Wow.
He's Greek and he's just giving you this philoxenia experience every time you go. So, you know, and that's what we will achieve on the real Greek.
I was at a restaurant the other day, I'm not going to say the brand name, and the waitress was awesome waitress. And she printed herself in her pocket the QR code of the Google review, of the Google location, and then wrote, "I hope you had a great experience, love," and her name. I posted it on LinkedIn. I was just like in awe, because I was like, why isn't, you know, it was her. She did it herself. She's in media. She's, you know, learning. She's a student, and I was like, that's just amazing. But you're right. It's about the people as well, right?
Definitely.
Yeah. Which location does he work in, so I can go to that store?
St. Paul's.
St. Paul's.
Yeah.
Done. Okay. So everyone need to check that one out. Okay. Best hospitality tech.
Wow. Hard.
I know. You can say type of tech if you like. I don't want to.
I don't know yet.
Or something you've experienced, maybe.
So I've been quite impressed by, you know, I will not say the name of the company we are working with, but all these AI tools that are aggregating all the sentiment people feel about your brand online. And I think it's fascinating. I do think there is some limits because, you know, there is nothing more powerful than just read your fucking review and understand what are the issues, because otherwise meatballs become footballs. And but
AI hallucinates sometimes, right?
I do find it fascinating to be able to have in a click a very top line view of what's happening.
Yeah, awesome. Best restaurant.
Best restaurant. What's your best restaurant?
Oh, I think I'm a bit obsessed with Chotomate.
Okay.
Just because the food, and also my wife's gluten-free, dairy-free, allium, so this is like garlic, onions, and so on. So there's challenges when you go to a restaurant, and she says either she'll be like, "I can eat, just give me chicken breast and don't worry about it." But we went there, and we worked with them, but I didn't tell them that I'd never tell the restaurant that I book it, because otherwise it's all like, "Oh, hi," you know, I don't want the freebies. I'd rather just give them the tip, or if I get a freebie, I'll give them the tip over the freebies, but I never get it. I don't want it. I'd rather just experience the fun. And I explained that. I went to the manager came over. He didn't know me, and I explained to him. He went away. He hand wrote a menu for her and said, "You can have all of this." And she was like,
"That's hospitality."
So for me, that will always sit in my mind as that, and also the food's awesome. Service was amazing.
I've not been for a while, actually. I will. So normally, you will hate me for saying that, but I try not to go twice in the same place.
I love that. That's interesting. You want to experience different, right?
I'm just like, I'm paying a babysitter.
Yeah.
I am paying for like a table. Let's try and discover something else. So it's hard for me when people ask me like, what's the best place? Because generally, it's the new place I want to go.
Yeah, you know? We have such a selection in London, right? It is crazy.
Yeah. I've been recently, for instance, to a small place called Conscious Kitchen, and they're doing everything handmade, and it was amazing. So yeah, I love to discover new
ones. I love that. Best burger.
Five Guys.
Okay.
Quick, you know, that's the thing.
Yeah. So
you will never see me doing any delivery at home.
Yeah.
Apart from Dishoom and Five Guys.
Yeah, those two.
That's all.
Because they're quick.
Dishoom, because I think their packaging experience is so beautiful that actually, yes, you're not in the restaurant, but you know, you're having something very unique. And I think it's a food that transports quite well.
Yeah.
and Five Guys because I do believe they are the best burger. But I don't know why. Recently, maybe because I had the founder of Honest next to me in a talk. I really want to go back to Honest. I haven't been for a while.
Oh, I mean, the Smashed has been redesigned. And
so I will definitely go. But
well, the app's here, you can get your onion rings, and you can throw the onion rings in. So,
but Five Guys, when you select only all the cooked toppings, is very.
So not all the way. You just the cooked toppings.
All the cooked mushroom. All, cooked onion. You select all the cooked, and that's the best burger.
I was listening to an article the other day, a story the other day about the fries. Because when you go there, obviously they have the extra cup at the top, and they just chuck it in. And I think that one piece just does it for me as well. Yeah. The bag will be like fries, like just descended everywhere.
Yeah.
I think they've done a really good job, even to the style and look of the restaurant. The same thing since for years. It's exactly the same.
Yeah.
So it's a good product. But I am a little bit au fait to Honest, and there is one just here. So whenever my team are like, do you want to come? I've just popped here by myself. I'm like, they know I'm going to leave and go straight there. So best hotel.
Best hotel, 100%. Malkulele in Sri Lanka. It's kind of a glamping. You are just above tea plantation. You see the monkey on the trees, and that's very, very unique.
You have to send me the link. I'll link it in. Okay, we have come to the. I'm going to do another round of applause. Here we go. You can hear that one. 2 questions for the next guest.
2 questions for the next guest. One is, can you explain your job to my 5-year-old girl?
I love that.
And then question. So it's hard because I don't know who you are, next guest. But one thing you would like to change in your life.
It's good. It's good. It's very good. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm gonna give you one more round of applause. You get 3. So it's awesome for you. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
This story was amazing, and the snippets are going to be awesome because there's just so much to learn. And thank you for coming.
Thank you.